10XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we got a huge event coming up right here in Duval, Friday night, October 27th at the UNF Arena. ValorBK.com is where you get the tickets. It is Valor Bare Knuckle Boxing. Got to be kidding me. We are joined by one of the greats, the world's most dangerous man. He is the founder, and as well, he will be presenting this big ticket coming up in just a couple of Fridays. Ken Shamrock joins Rick Ballou. Ken, really good to see you. How you been?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Man, it's great to have you with us. And the whole world of promotion, the most obvious question is all of the huge fights that you've been in, whether it's your Hall of Fame fights with the UFC, kickboxing, the WWF, the adrenaline that runs in those huge ticket fights. How do you have the same type of passion now as a promoter?
Yeah, it's hard, I'll tell you. Actually, in our very first one that we did back in 2019, and being able to watch those guys go in there and fight, man, and sitting outside watching it, your blood gets going again, right? But at the same time, you know, you sit outside and you know what your capabilities are, you understand who you are and where you're at the time. So really just proud of the guys when they're in there and they go in and fight. And I know what they're feeling. I know they're following this dream that they've started since they were 15 years old, and now they're actually in there fighting. And I know what it feels like. So that part of it is just fulfilling to me as I'm sitting out there watching them go at it.
You're phenomenal athletically, these fighters. But how do you separate being an athlete and doing your job? How do you flip the switch when it comes to this incredible hand-to-face combat?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to kind of explain that to someone, but it really is flipping a switch. You go training for, it was me, it's like 12 weeks getting prepared for the fight. Then fight night comes around and you're relaxed and calm and you walk down the aisle, you get in there and the bell rings and it just snaps. It's game on, and you know it's them or you. You're going to win. And so you go out there and you put to use all the things that you did in training. You got your coach and everybody there telling you, hey, do this, do that. But you already know because you've trained for 12 weeks for this fight. So a lot of times, like I said, when you step in there, none of that stuff matters, man, because you're so focused on your opponent and getting that job done.
Is this something that you realize at a young age that I'm born to be a fighter? I would think that, you can take a power forward in the NBA and say he could be a great tight end in the NFL. But to be a fighter, is that something that you can go out and find, or is that something you have in your brain that when you're still, under the age of 10, this is what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, flipping that switch when you go in there's that switch that flips. And you can see it in training when guys go in and spar, they have that switch. They go in and you can just see, man, they're on, they're game on, and there's no fear. And you can see that. We did a lot of tryouts here in Florida to put guys on the card, and we were able to, witness that and be able to see the guys that we thought would work very well in our bout circle.
Ken Shamrock, our guest, a huge event coming up. Get the tickets at ValorBK.com. It's going to be at the UNF Arena on Friday night, October 27th, true bare knuckle boxing. Tell us about that, about kind of going out and searching for some talent here in this state. I gotta think of it as a lot of them probably got in there and said that's it for me and left. But did you find any good specimens?
Yeah, actually, we went to probably 8 or 9 different gyms over the last probably 3 months. And we had nobody, and I mean nobody, that walked in there and said, well, this ain't for me. Every single one of them who stepped in there knew what they were getting into. Bare knuckle has been around for a few years, and people truly understand what it is. And these guys are coming from backgrounds of MMA and boxing, so they understand what it is to fight, and they understand what it is to do bare knuckle because they've been seeing it. So we've never had anybody actually go in and back out. Good for Florida, right? No chickens. But we found some great talent, man. And October 27 at the UNF, man, come on down and check out the fights because we got some great ones.
Historically speaking, bare knuckle boxing has been around forever. I mean, you can go back to the 16, 17, 1800s, and you have the whole underground. But me of Irish descent, I remember the whole, the Wranglers, the bare knuckle stuff they do out there.
Backyard brawlers, baby.
They're drinking beers, and then they're out there fighting. Well, this is different because this is basically the UFC. You're in the cage, and you can take your opponent to the ground
You can't take it, not on this one.
It's okay.
Straight up, man-to-man, bare knuckle, true bare knuckle boxing.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, now I'm glad you told us that, because not too long ago with Jorge Masvidal, that's the way that they did. They went to the ground. So, Ken, please, this is straight up fighting only.
Dude, this is groundbreaking stuff. And it was a vision I came up with and a rule sets that I came up with to make it more friendly for fans and friendly for fighters. And some of the things we've done in there, which is really the most boring thing in a stand-up fight or boxing, is the clinch. So we've taken that out. There is absolutely no clinching. So you have to keep your hands closed and you have to punch and use your footwork. The last thing we did there is we took out the ropes and the cages. There is no ropes and no cages, so there's nowhere for you to lay on or back up into.
So how big's the ring?
Yo, it's big enough, man.
All right, so
it's big enough.
So it's old school boxing rules, bare knuckle, no using your feet or your knees or anything like that. It's just nothing but fists.
All we've done is basically, other than taking the clinch out of it, is taking the gloves off, no tape on the hands, straight up bare knuckle boxing. Valor BK.
Man, I love it. How many on the card? Do you know for sure yet?
Yes, we have 14 fights, and they're exciting fights, man. Like I said, I've actually personally been able to actually put this card together, watch these guys try out, and match them up. And I'm telling you, man, if you miss this, you're going to miss a night of action.
It's coming up in just a couple of Fridays. Ken Shamrock, our guest, the world's most dangerous man. You know the name. He's a Hall of Famer in the UFC. I certainly remember his days as a fighter with the WWE. Went over to Japan. He's done it all. Impact Wrestling. Ken is I've known coaches. I've been doing this for more than 3 decades, and every coach, the way they're wired, they think they're the best coach. And if they ever became a head coach, they do things a little bit differently. What about as a promoter? I mean, you learned under Vince McMahon. You learned, Dana White, right. Some of the other big names. What do you take, from them as a promoter, and how are you different?
Yeah, I think that really as me being different, I've come up with this, especially when I got into promoting. I got out of the fighting, and when I became a promoter, I wanted to make sure that I could do something groundbreaking. And one of those things is like the rule sets. Like most of the other bare knuckle organizations, they allow the clinching, right? Uh-huh. But to me, I thought, I want to try to do something different and to be able to try and induce action and not slow action down. So for me, being that promoter, I learned that from guys like Vince and Dana to not just go with the flow, but to make sure that when you put fights on, that you're putting on fights that are the best for the fans to see. And putting the best guys against the best guys. That Dana White does that all the time. He's always matching the best guys against the best guys, and they're not letting them pad their record. And so for me, I took a little bit out of those things, is just basically going out and making sure you're putting on great fights. And I personally, with these tryouts, have gone to these tryouts and watched these guys spar, so I know who's getting in that bout circle and fighting for us.
Ken Shamrock, it's coming up in just a couple of weeks. Again, get your tickets at valorbk.com. That's valorbk.com. It's true bare knuckle boxing. I'm blown away by this. I'm excited to get on out there. So they three-minute rounds?
Yeah, 3-minute match, but our title fight is 6 rounds. Okay. 6 3-minute rounds.
Wow. You've done it all. Is there, I can't think of anything combat sports-wise that you didn't do. Is there something that you did not do that you kind of wish you did?
Well, I'm on my way now. I want to be a great promoter. I want to be able to put on fights that fighters love and love to be a part of our organization. And I want to put on fights that fans love and that want to come to our fights. And we're in the process of doing that. And so October 27th at the UNF, man, you guys come on out and check out and see what we got, man. It's going to be a night of action.
Man, it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. Before we let you go, you're in phenomenal shape. How do you feel? I mean, you took a couple of punches in the day. Is it hard to get out of bed?
Yeah, when you first get up in the mornings, it'll crack in here and there. But, for me, I get up every single morning and I attack my day. And I enjoy doing that.
Man, I tell you what a career you've had. It's been absolutely a pleasure. And I'm really looking forward to this. So I learned from you tonight, Ken. I was under the impression it was going to be in a cage with ropes and or not ropes, but in a cage. I love this idea.
Yeah, well, wait till you see it, bro. I'm seriously.
I'm going to be there.
When you go there, not having ropes or cages and sitting there watching it is one of the best experiences you'll ever have, because every time you've gone to a fight or a combat, you've always had to try to look around cages or ropes. Well, here, you don't have to do that.
Man, it's going to be a blast. So, once again, let me give you the information. ValorBK.com. It's coming up at the UNF Arena, where you've seen plenty of hoops games there. You know, it's a great facility. And that'll be on Friday night, October 27th at the UNF Arena. Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. He has founded this, and he is presenting it, and I wish you the best of luck. I hope this really does work out for you.
I really appreciate that. And thank you for having me on, and to everybody out there, man. Hey, October 27th, we'll see you there, UNF.
Ken Shamrock, ladies and gentlemen. What an event. I'll be pumping it up until the 27th, and we'll see you out there at UNF. All right, Jag